Good morning everybody and welcome to visit Fylde Coast. It's an absolutely glorious Saturday morning. I've checked the tide table thoroughly before I've set off and I know what the tide's doing, I know where it is and I know how much time we've got, so we're going to do a quick video before it starts turning round and coming in about honeycomb worm reefs. Now you can see there's all these things on the beach and a lot of these things are rocks. As you can see, these are just pebbles and they've got barnacles growing on them. But a bit further up here are something which is quite a special thing for Cleveleys and for our beach, and that was a patch of mud yak, which is why I'm walking around here and not walking straight through the middle of it. And these are honeycomb worm reefs, and they are made by the Sabellaria Alveolata annelid, say that if you can, and it's a ringed worm which is only 3 to 4 centimetres in size. Now when we get a little bit further up here to this bigger patch, you'll understand why that becomes a little bit more remarkable, because these reefs are enormous. And on Cleveleys and Fleetwood Beach, we're on Russell Beach, well we're just about on Cleveleys Beach at the minute, but just to orientate you, that's North Pier and Blackpool Tower and all that kind of thing up there. Norbrett Castle Hotel. And then as you come around the coastline, and then this with the egg whisks on top that we're just going to come to is the cafe at the end of Cleveleys Prom. And then that is Russell Beach that you come into. So you're heading in, if I carried on turning left, you're heading in a northerly direction at Cleveleys. And these reefs extend the full width of this beach practically. They're visible or not visible depending on the tide. Well, depending on the sand, because the tide moves the sand and it either erodes it or deposits it depending on what the conditions have been like. But these reefs are really quite distinct. So there's a little bit here, nicely conveniently positioned where we can look at it instead of having to go trudging through all the mud. And you can see that there are little, do you see there? There are little tubes. It's really hard. It's like a sort of a calcified coral, and you can see the little tubes there that the little worms have made in the stuff. And this reefy stuff, it extends all over the beach. Now I thought at first, when I first came here, that these were the petrified forest remains. They're not. That's another subject for another video, but let's just say we've also got them as well. And you can see, in fact, that's usually there's loads of sludgy mud around them, but that's quite thoughtful that they've exposed themselves just next to some nice clean sand. You can see how the little tunnels that the little wiggly wormy things have made. And you might be wondering, in fact that's a good bit there, look. You can see how they've made a straight line that comes up to the top. So this is sort of their breathing tube where they live under the water. And you might be wondering why it matters, why it's important. Well, you can see all the birds on it. And this makes such a diverse habitat. It makes a really good feeding ground for so many different things, and it encourages diversity in the sea and makes it such a much better place. And while we're on the subject, this mud, it's minging, so make sure that you don't stand in it if you are on the beach, because it sticks. But the mud is exactly the same kind of mud that you would get in your back garden, and that is an absolutely rich diet for seabirds. I mean, there's no accounting for taste. Personally, I prefer a piece of cake and a coffee, but you know, we've all got our foibles, haven't we? So these little wiggly worms mainly occur around the southwest coast of the UK and on the west as well. And they extend from Britain, back to the mud, they extend from Britain as far south as Morocco. Wow, that's some reef. I don't mean in one piece, I mean, you know, in baits. So that's what they are. And as I said when I started this video, I've checked the tide times before I came down here. And I know that at the minute the tide is as far out as it's going to go this morning. So I know that gives me an hour max before I need to get off this spot, otherwise I will be swimming and sending for the lifeguard, which I do not want to do. So if you want to come down to low tide to look at anything at all, at any time, in any location, always check the tide before you do it. So that's today's natural history lesson. So don't forget, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. Make sure that you've given it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Visit Fylde Coast YouTube channel, because we'll be bringing you all kinds of interesting stuff. Well, all kinds of interesting stuff. And there's another video as well about the petrified forest and rising sea levels. What's that? Oh, it's a bit of wood. I was getting all excited then. I thought it were a World War II bomb. What a shame. It looks as if it's been a peg at some time. It's cut and shaped. Interesting. Don't forget, subscribe to Visit Fylde Coast, and we will see you soon. Bye for now.